Hi there, welcome on board for our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Coming up, getting labor market information in the palms of your hands. Plus, we look at how water shops are helping to solve the need for this commodity. Still to come, it's Heart Month and we learn about sudden cardiac arrest. Sit back and relax for these and other interesting features as we continue to turn the pages of today's informative edition.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen delivered government's agenda for the 2020-2021 financial year during this week's ceremonial opening of Parliament, declaring that it will be the start of a decade of growth. He identified security as a high priority, in addition to accelerated investments in infrastructure, renewable energy, skills development, and environmental protection.
We will be building smart infrastructure with fiber optics, cameras, and sensors designed and embedded into our infrastructure assets.
On Tuesday afternoon, Finance Minister Nigel Clarke tabled the estimates of expenditure for the 2020-2021 financial year, revealing that government projects to spend the largest portion of its $852 billion budget on the economy, education, national security, and health. On Thursday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness confirmed that the test results came back negative for all 3 patients who were placed in isolation for investigation of COVID-19, previously known as the novel coronavirus. All 3 patients will now be discharged given their negative test results. Meanwhile, a team from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, is now on the island, training local laboratory staff to test for COVID-19.
By the following week, we expect that we will have the capacity to test. Now, this is very fortunate for us because it's not every country is going to have that capacity.
Major development works will start on 4 health centers in St. James within the next 2 months. This will benefit about 15,000 residents and 70 healthcare workers across the 4 communities served by the Granville, Adelphi, Barretttown, and Flanker health centers.
Apart from the upgrades that will be done, there's also going to be more personnel, more equipment, and greater levels of curative services.
Work has begun on the Port Maria Police Station in St. Mary, which will also be the divisional headquarters. The 4-story facility is being built at a cost of $250 million through funding from the National Housing Trust.
It's a big investment, but we consider it necessary, not only for the security of the population, but to give our policemen and women the tools to work with effectively across Jamaica. And I'm confident, I have no doubt in my mind, that once the officers are given the right working conditions and the appropriate tools, they will get crime under control in Jamaica and make the public safe to operate in.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of National Security will be spending $400 million under its security strengthening project in the new fiscal year.
This government is committed to improving not the working conditions of the police force and to providing the police with adequate resources to fight the criminal network.
And as of March 1, 2020, government will be providing monthly financial assistance to athletes preparing to compete in the upcoming Olympic Games in Japan.
Beginning March 1 and continuing into mid-July of this year, athletes who have qualified or are on the brink of qualification for the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Tokyo will receive $20,000 per week towards their preparation. to be disbursed on a monthly basis. This is a long-term effort by this administration to provide the necessary support systems to ensure that the well-being of our athletes is sustained.
The news was revealed by the Sport Minister during the recent unveiling ceremony for Asafa Powell's statue at the National Stadium in Kingston. Those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolfe.
A computer-based labor market information system is one component of ongoing modernization at the Ministry of Labor and Social Security to deliver more effective services. Businesses and job seekers can now access relevant labor market information, post-employment opportunities, and make applications for jobs using this online portal. Let's find out more.
Since 2001, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Labour Market Information System, LMIS, has provided a cost-effective way for employers to source and find suitable employees, as well as for job seekers to find employment. The LMIS has three components: the Labour Market Intelligence, LMI, the Skills Bank, and the Electronic Labour Exchange, ELE. These three components are interwoven to equip job seekers and employers to meet the demand of the labour market. The Labour Market Intelligence Department, LMI, collects labour market information and uses this information to determine trends and factors which influence the market. The department spearheaded the National Labour Market Survey 2017, which was tabled in Parliament by Honourable Minister Shahini Robinson. The survey identified 6 key findings.
1. Less than 1% of the workers in the participating firms were foreigners. 2. 80% of firms found it difficult to fill vacancies in their organizations. 3. Most firms were optimistic about their business prospects. 4. The hotel and restaurant services had the greatest opportunity for growth in the labor market. 5. Demand will be greatest for skills workers in production and services with 72%. And 6. 10% of the firms employed persons with disabilities.
The survey is beneficial to policymakers, curriculum developers, students, job seekers, and employers who can use the information to assess imbalances in the labour market. Labour market intelligence is also utilised to better position the LMIS to meet the needs of clients. The Electronic Labour Exchange, ELE, is the core component of the LMIS. It's a critical tool for linking job seekers with employers where the in-office services are enhanced by an online portal.
Persons can go and register on or offline. They can create their resume and post their qualifications. And we match those skill sets with jobs that are already posted by employers.
What we do is to do preparatory work in terms of getting individuals ready for the world of work. And these are done through our employability skills sessions. And these are done effectively to allow for the individual person to be ready to go into an organization and display the relevant soft skills that we want in order to have productivity.
It showed me that it doesn't matter what happened in the office or what is going to happen where you go. There's always help and strength there. You should just take the good from it and leave the bad where it is. Without the program, I would have never gotten that training.
Since its launch, the LMIS website has attracted more than 14,000 job seekers and over 1,000 employers, earning their trust and becoming a national employment portal.
We have been partnering with the Ministry of Labour to have interns coming in and joining our team for 3-month periods. What they have been able to do is to come in and to create a steady pipeline for us of talent that we have been able to infuse into the workspace and to be able to fill our entry-level roles. The experience has been a good one for us. We've been able to find talent that we can transition into the organization, and most of them are still with us and doing very well.
I am very grateful for the program. When I left high school, I was in and out of jobs. And thanks to the ELE program, I'm here at the COK Sodality. I've been to 3 departments thus far, and I must say, it has been a very good experience.
The LMIS is committed to serving Jamaica's labor force and has been building sustainable partnerships to enrich and increase access to the service.
The latest of which has been through the New Employment Opportunities Project, which the executing body is youth. And what that does is to allow for our individuals who are conducting our employability skills sessions to be trained in global standards as to how to do it. It also facilitates a development of a mobile app that would allow for individuals to be able to access our web portal.
In seeking to cement the public-private partnership, we have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Jamaica Library Service, with the Manchester Chamber of Commerce, and we intend to do that island-wide.
Through this MOU, job seekers are able to use both facilities to access the services of the ELE portal, effectively allowing the LMIS increased penetration across the island. To improve human capital and labor market outcomes for the poor, the ministry has partnered with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, to develop and implement an on-the-job pilot for 1,500 PATH program beneficiaries.
Through the electronic labor exchange, we are targeting persons from these households between the ages of 17 to 25 for job placement. Now, before we place them in jobs, we want them to be able to function effectively in the labor market. We want them to be able to retain those jobs. And it is through retaining those jobs that we will truly break the intergenerational cycle of poverty.
The LMIS is grooming and empowering Jamaicans to achieve their fullest potential by utilizing labor market information, promoting the services of the ELE, and strengthening labor market opportunities through partnerships. The Labor Market Information System, providing easier access to employment opportunities.
Whatever illness you might have, it is important to visit the doctor at the earliest sign of sickness. For many conditions, early detection can lead to better outcomes. Don't stay at home and self-medicate and allow your condition to worsen before going to the doctor.
If you are a youngster, young child, 14 and younger, older person, or you have a compromised immune system, you have an underlying illness, a cancer patient, a diabetic patient, then your system is compromised. You need to see the doctor quickly and let the doctor prescribe.
Visiting your doctor early protects your health, so you can enjoy more moments, more life.
The government is working to get potable water to people in areas where it's not readily piped for domestic use. One strategy being utilized to help fill the need is the establishment of water shops. More on that in this next feature.
You see, sir, no water. This is what I've got to put up with.
We have responded in a way to try to get water to communities. While these solutions are not the answer to the problems, but at least we are making an attempt to get water.
This water shop ground was broken in 2016, and it actually was brought into operation November 16, 2017. This water shop presently serves approximately 60 people per week and dispense about 8,000 gallons of water on a weekly basis.
The Penance Water Shop is the first such facility to be established in the country. More than 3 years later, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development has commissioned into service over 7 water shops across the island. Parishes such as St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Manchester and Portland are happy to have unlimited access to potable water. These water shops have quenched the thirsts of many residents who do not have the precious commodity flowing through their taps.
And we provided this water free of cost.
Well, I've got 2 tanks. I don't drink the tank water. My husband, sometimes we went on the road to get water, but since this water is here, we fetch the water from here for drinking. That's how we get water.
Penance is one of these rural communities, largely farming, with a population of over 3,000 people. There are a lot of people here, of course, and one of the challenges we have is lack of running water. The district is not adequately served by any water system. There was once upon a time that water came from the northern side of the parish, but because of the increase in population, we get water here just every now and again, a little trickle. It's really rainwater that suffices the citizens, and the river. There's a river nearby that they also use for washing and other purposes.
I appreciate it that the water shop is here. We can come and catch water when we want, drink water.
So at this point in time, I think that this is probably the only reliable source of potable water for the citizens of Penance and the surrounding communities. It's Crooked River, Prospect, Main Ridge, Mullet Hall, Dank Savoy, Summerfield, Beckford Crawl, Iron Gate, Blackwoods. In fact, almost all the communities surrounding Penance, we have residents using this water shop. This water is bought from the NWC system. It's treated water, and then when it comes here, it's again treated. So it's chlorinated from the NWC system, and then it is filtered here. So what you have is proper drinking water being dispensed at this facility.
Tastes good because you cannot taste no chlorine in it. It's just crystal clear and drink very light.
I drink this water and I don't put it on the fridge. I just catch it, put it down, and I just drink when I want water to drink. It tastes good.
Most people really appreciate the services being offered here. Of course, they will also tell you that they would prefer for the water to be come directly to their homes, and they are willing to pay for it. So this water shop really wasn't intended to be the end in itself. The long-term plan, of course, is to have a proper water source and water piped to the individual homes, wherein it is metered and paid for.
It's Heart Month, and as part of building awareness, we'll now turn the pages to look at sudden cardiac arrest. Here's how you can identify and manage this condition.
You're up and about, going through your routine activities. Suddenly, you collapse without warning. Your heart stops beating, and within seconds, you stop breathing. A quick check shows there's no pulse. All signs of sudden cardiac arrest. Sudden cardiac arrest, SCA, is a condition in which the heart unexpectedly stops beating. When this happens, blood stops flowing to the brain and other vital organs. The person may die if not treated within minutes.
So the way you decide if they're having sudden cardiac arrest is, in addition to seeing if they're conscious, calling to them and seeing if there's any response, you need to feel for a pulse. So you'd feel at the neck, at the angle of the jaw, or you could listen for the heartbeat by putting your ear to the patient's chest. You need to see if they're breathing. So if they're not breathing, they have no pulse, then they're in cardiac arrest.
SCA is not to be confused with a heart attack, which happens when blood flow to the heart is blocked. However, a heart attack can lead to sudden cardiac arrest. Another way to look at it is, a heart attack is a circulation problem, while sudden cardiac arrest is an electrical one. The immediate cause of most SCAs is an abnormal heart rhythm as the electrical activities of the heart becomes chaotic and the heart is unable to pump blood to the rest of the body.
We're all at risk for sudden cardiac death, so we need to know our numbers and our status. What is your blood pressure? Do you know what your blood pressure is? Do you know what your cholesterol is? So we might be a walking time bomb and we don't know. It's not just people who appear healthy who are at risk. Somebody can be overweight and you say, oh, they're bound to drop down, but somebody who is slim can drop down as well. It just depends what the other risk factors are. So I just think the only way we can know is to know your numbers, know your status.
Among the conditions that trigger sudden cardiac arrest is coronary artery disease, a more common cause in persons over 35 years old. Also, cardiomyopathy, in which the heart muscle becomes enlarged or thick and weak, as well as inherited disorders that may cause parts of the heart to stretch and become weak. Other conditions include disorders of the heart's electrical system, as well as heart defects that were exhibited at birth. Persons who have a family history of sudden cardiac arrest or heart disease are also at risk. In contrast to elderly persons, cases of SCA is not prevalent in children.
But the children can be born with some types of heart disease that make them have a higher risk for sudden cardiac arrest. That is usually picked up if they have, sometimes at birth, because of the abnormalities, but even if they're corrected, they can still have an increased risk of sudden cardiac arrest.
Highlighted cases of SCA in student athletes in recent years prompted increased focus on evaluation for the physically active.
I would like to encourage all parents, if you have a child who is involved in any team sport, any physical activity, or even a lot of physical activity, and if they're not on a team, to please have your child checked. Carry them for sudden cardiac arrest screening. We have it at the Heart Foundation. We can come island-wide, or go to your GP and have your child tested.
A victim of sudden cardiac arrest can survive with the quick action of a bystander who is able to apply immediately cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR.
You will start resuscitative efforts, which would include compressing the chest in order to get the heart going. You may or may not breathe for them. Nowadays, it is not, a lot of bystanders balk at starting CPR because they don't want to put their mouth on the patient's mouth. And that's a real concern. Studies were done a couple years ago and they determined that compression-only CPR, so just pressing on the chest alone, is of value.
If available, an automated external defibrillator, AED, can be used within a few minutes to restore a normal rhythm to the heart. These may be available at certain places such as airports, stadiums, and other public and business places.
If someone has developed chest pain, they've grabbed their chest, they've sank down on the ground because they're having chest pain or they're not breathing properly, you don't start CPR for that. They need to get to medical attention immediately. But you would only start CPR if the patient is pulseless and not breathing.
Following that bit of first intervention, which must take place within the first 4 to 5 minutes of sudden cardiac arrest, the patient will need to be moved immediately to a hospital. The Ministry of Health since 1996 has been partnering with the Ministry of Local Government through the Jamaica Fire Brigade to expand its provision of pre-hospital service.
We recognize that transportation of patients to hospital is a vital part of the chain of survival. Certainly from the patient suffers an incident to the point at which they reach hospital and get care. The transportation to hospital is important, and not only in terms of the time that it takes, but also in terms of the support that is provided during that transport.
You're supposed to have a defibrillator on the ambulance. You're supposed to have basic drugs which a trained paramedic would be able to administer to continue advanced cardiac life support. And when they get to the hospital, which would have been alerted from the ambulance that we're bringing in a cardiac arrest victim, the team would be waiting at the door of the hospital to receive this patient.
Based on the value of CPR in saving a life, the Ministry of Health has been partnering with the Heart Foundation of Jamaica to encourage more Jamaicans to get trained in CPR. And this important life skill is everybody's business, so get trained and be ready to lend a hand when the need arises. On the board this week, the National Fisheries Authority is reminding fisherfolk, traders and the public at large that the conch close season remains in effect and continues until March 31, 2020. During this time, it is illegal to catch, sell or process any conch meat. Conch meat which has been previously declared must remain in cold storage until the season officially reopens. The Jamaica House Basic School is inviting you to an evening of praise on February 25. It will be held on the school grounds at 1 Devon Road, Kingston 10. The evening of praise will feature Tarsha Williams, Shauna K. MacArthur and many more. Showtime is 5 p.m. and tickets will be sold for $500. Refreshments will be on sale. The United Church presents Convocation 2020. It's on Ash Wednesday in all regions and will be held under the theme Evangelism, the Heartbeat of the Church. The Northeastern Region's Convocation is at Boulevard Baptist Church in Kingston from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Southern Region's Convocation will be held at Clarendon College from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The West Jamaica Seventh-day Adventist Conference in Mount Salem, St. James is hosting the Western Region's Convocation from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Meanwhile, the Cayman Region's Convocation will be held at Savannah United Church in Grand Cayman from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Come and be ready for a magnificent time in the Lord. Admission is free. Also on the community notice board, the Post and Telecommunications Department's Central Sorting Office, located at 6 to 10 South Camp Road in Kingston, wishes to advise customers that all outbound mail items to China and Hong Kong, with the exception of fast-track shipments, are now suspended until further notice. It's in reaction to the novel coronavirus or COVID-19's continued impact on commerce and logistics, particularly international flights to and from China. For additional information, visit jamaicapost.gov.jm or email info@jamaicapost.gov.jm. The Post and Telecommunications Department sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience caused. And that's all for your community notices this Saturday. If you have an event to share on our notice board, give us a call at 876-922-8680 or email cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
We've come to the end of our half-hour journey, but be sure to come right back here tomorrow for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.